Welcome to the Dan Casper Show podcast, your chance to catch the full show anytime, anywhere. If you missed it live on the radio, no worries. We've got you covered with all the sports talk, opinions, interviews, and conversations from the show. From the Packers to the Brewers to the biggest stories in sports and around Wisconsin, it's all right here. This is the Dan Casper Show podcast. Final quarter kicking off right now. What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. We are making the turn on this week. Thanks for hanging out with us and participating, hitting us up with some texts and some comments on the video stream. We've got a couple of hey, how about this? So we've got U.S. National Coupe Championship saying thanks, Dan, for interviewing BJ and BJ and the boys about the Kings of Coupe. We all appreciate it so much. Hope to see you there. Thanks for that. That was a great. Oh, those guys were awesome. They were awesome and such. So thanks for tuning in and listening to this. Zach said, I think I mentioned this the other day, but I still think running back as well because there's a lot of unknowns with Lloyd. Brent said, favorite athlete as a kid, hands down, Michael Jordan. I used to pay attention to the NBA so much more than I do now. Easier on the eyes to watch when they aren't traveling. I was a huge NBA fan as a kid, too. How I am with the Packers and such, that was me with Orlando and the NBA. NBA on NBC as a kid, NBA on TNT. I mean, big-time NBA. I told the story a little bit earlier, but for crying out loud in the summers, when out of school and that, I had a GeoCities website on the Orlando Magic, giving opinions and thoughts, and I was like 12 years old, 11 years, 10 or something like that. Probably not the smartest thing to do, but that's kind of like, hey, this is what I love to do in that. But, oh, yeah, huge into the NBA. Huge when I was a kid. And not so much anymore. And back then I was like, I didn't even like college, but I'd rather watch NBA, and that's definitely switched. But although it's a little bit different now, too, maybe a little even in that. But nonetheless, keep those picks coming, all right? So your favorite athletes, send them on over, 715-830-1912. Or, again, you could comment on the chat. If you just make your pick, you're automatically going to be entered. So let's do a little Mike Star Market, Am I Wrong? So it sounds like the NCAA, speaking of college basketball, that the tournament is going to expand to 76 teams. Am I wrong for saying... Why? I mean, I get it. It's going to more money, more teams are going to be able to get in it and that and that and that and that. But am I wrong for saying nobody that comes in from 69 to 76 is going to even make the Final Four? I just, at some point, and am I wrong again? As soon as we get to 76, the debate is going to be, let's expand it more, because then you're going to get the talking heads that are going to sit there and say, well, this team deserved to be in and that team deserved to be in over the 76th team. It is going to continue. And I know that's probably not the biggest reason why they're doing this. It's probably not the biggest reason they're doing it. They're doing it. It's a moneymaker, getting more teams. And that is the biggest thing. If the biggest reason is because, okay, this allows us to get more teams that deserve to be in, just stop. Because that argument will always continue. I still think am I wrong for thinking eventually we're going to see maybe 100 teams in this thing in our lifetimes? I think it's just going to continue to expand and expand and expand. Maybe not, I shouldn't say that during my lifetime, but maybe some younger people's lifetimes. I don't know. I know I'm probably sounding like an old man in the front yard, waving his fist and all that, but and I like college basketball. I love March Madness. It's one of my favorite times of the calendar, of the sports calendar, but when can we just say enough's enough? This actually would have been a better enough is enough for tomorrow, but I don't know. But anyways, speaking of hoops, I saw this during the break. The everlasting debates of LeBron and MJ. This is a piece up on ESPN. Just read it off of ESPN.com here. It says, while that debate may never be settled, James, in a wide-ranging series of interviews with ESPN, conducted during the season acknowledged the influence Jordan had on him. Well, duh. I hope I made him proud at least wearing that number 23. I never have compared myself to MJ because our games are totally different. I have been a point forward my whole life. I've always looked for the pass. MJ kind of looked for the shot. Not kind of, he did. He looked for the shot. LeBron looking for the pass? Okay. There are a lot of things where I would say my game is a lot different and a little better than his, but blank, he was blanking great. We're both great. We're both great basketball players. There are a lot of things that MJ did better than I do, and I think there are some things I do better than him. That's just how the game goes. There's a lot of things that I can say in particular. You already know how this conversation is going to be misinterpreted by people. I think I am one of one. I think the way I play the game, I am one of one player, and MJ as well. A blanking, unbelievable basketball player. I think his mid-range jump shot was unbelievable. He did so many great things. I grew up blanking, analyzing everything that he did, how he could get to his spot and rise above everybody. Obviously, his post game was elite. His will to win, I think that is the trait that we all know and that we all wanted to be like, his determination to win. You can look at both of us and say that you love both of us without trying to blank on each other. And usually he cusses a lot in this thing, apparently. It's blanking on me. But I know for sure that I've done my part in this journey. The older I've gotten, I've really kind of... Now, again, if we're just picking between Jordan and MJ, I'm picking Jordan. If we're picking it to start a team, I'm picking Jordan. But the older I have gotten, I've really started to subscribe more to the fact of the eras. And that's always been, you can't compare players of different eras. And that has been talked about, mentioned for the longest time now. And the older I've gotten, I've really kind of subscribed to that fact more. Because, no, I don't think, I'll just say this, I don't think you can compare Don Hutson to a Randy Moss. It's just, you can't. Eras, type of player, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think you can. Jordan and LeBron, two different players. Shaq and Kareem, two different players. I think in basketball, it's a little bit easier for, if you're creating your all-time team. Okay, well, you got 5 different positions you can essentially pick. You can go positionless, or you can try to go straight up. I want a typical 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Football even. Quarterbacks should be different. Otto Graham is always highly ranked. Johnny Unitas, are they different than Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers? Heck yeah. Baseball, is it almost fair to say that, gosh, I don't even know, baseball is the closest in terms of gaps between era? You know what I'm trying to say? So, what sport would you say has the biggest gap in terms of, types of talent or talents? You know what I mean? So, a football receiver from the 30s compared to a football receiver right now. To me, that is quite a big gap. Quarterback arm strength, probably a big gap. Baseball, would you say, is a little bit closer? Basketball, now you got big men shooting, the threes and such. But at least in basketball, we can still have fun by creating our all-time starting 5 or our all-time team. And in football, when you kind of do it now and you pick quarterback, it's like you kind of look at arm strengths, maybe now mobility and that sort of thing. It's I've really subscribed more to the and I don't think that's a knock on players. I don't think it's a knock to say you can't really compare because of different eras. Sports has changed. Players, the athletes, the build, the talent, their physical specimens have changed over the years. But it's going to be a debate. It's a fun debate. It's, some people take it really seriously. And that's the beauty thing about sports when it comes to these type of GOAT debates, is that there is no right or wrong answer. You're not going to get, failed on a test, or you're not going to be, punished for picking the wrong one. It's a fun debate to have. And it's a debate that'll go on and on and on and on. And everybody's going to have different. There's never, ever, 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 ever going to be 100%, 100% all in favor of this person as being the best player of all time, or this team being the best player of all time. Worst rapid. That's the beauty part of sports. And that's, as long as it's a respectful conversation, people don't take it so seriously, although some people do, and it's it's going to ruin their lives. But that's the beauty part of sports talk too, is we can have those conversations once in a while. We can sit in our man caves. We could go hop on a bar stool and say, man, I think Ken Griffey Jr. would have been the best baseball player of all time if he would have stayed healthy. And somebody would be like, no, it's Willie Mays. No, it's Babe Ruth, dude. Or no, now it's Shohei. We can have those debates and we can have those arguments. I don't like to say arguments because I feel like arguments kind of gives it a negative connotation. So maybe banter. But if it were me, in just my opinion, I'm still picking. If I had to pick between Jordan and LeBron, I'm still going to pick Jordan. And maybe some of that is because I grew up watching him, even though I was not a fan of his and I did not like him, because it was straight up, he beat my teams. That's the only reason I did not like Michael Jordan. And I know some people still struggle with the fact that why I'm a fan of Michael Jordan now, and I wasn't as a kid. It was straight up, I was a young kid, and he beat my teams. It's the same reason why my kid right now does not like Tom Brady, because all he did was win. But it's the jealousy factor. Would I have loved to have Jordan on my favorite teams? Heck yeah, if it meant all those championships. Are you kidding me? God, yeah. If Jordan was on my Orlando team with Penny and Shaq, hey now. If he was with the Bucks during those days, maybe I would have been a bigger Bucks fan. But it ain't going anywhere anytime soon. You're going to have your different reasons, again, for the Jordan and LeBron debate. It's going to be championship resumes. It's going to be points. It's going to be longevity. It's going to be awards, however you want to define it. I think it's... I know. The NBA one is very unique, because I think when you ask a lot of people who is the GOAT, it's between two. You might have some people throw in Kobe or Kareem or Magic or Larry at the back end, but for the most part, it's a LeBron versus MJ debate. Do we have that in any other, like in hockey? Is it Gretzky versus Gordie Howe, or is it just it's Gretzky and everybody else? Like, I don't feel like in any other sport, and maybe I'm missing it, where it's like 1v1. Like even in the NFL, is it Tom Brady versus Montana? But what about Jim Brown? What about Lawrence Taylor? I think from the NFL standpoint, it is quarterback versus quarterback, and it's Brady versus Montana at that point. But I think, NBA-wise, it's straight up LeBron, MJ. Who are you rolling with? Are you team LeBron or are you team MJ? I'm team MJ. I'm going team MJ. All right, we got to take a quick break. Back with plenty more, though, coming up after these quick words. So we got a little more details on the Jaden Reed contract, it looks like. So his cap hit went up a little bit more this year. He's got a cap hit this year of about, let's round, $6.8 million. His 2027 cap hit does jump up to about $10.9 million, but it's also a dead cap hit of 15. So at least a couple of years. It does say after that is a potential out, where in 2028, his cap hit's going to be $17.6 million and a dead cap hit of 10. So I mean, if it's a 2-year deal, some people say it's going to be like a 2-year deal this year and then 2027, and then we'll see. That's a popular phrase, kind of like Andrew Brandt says. Otherwise, 2029, he's got a cap hit of 17 and then a dead cap of just 5. So I almost feel like it's this year, 2027, 2028, and then we'll kind of see. Because you're talking about nearly a $12 million difference between dead cap hit and cap hit. And he'll be 29 in 2029. So he's just still 26 this year. So ultimately, what does it all mean? I think this is a very he's getting a good chunk of change. And yes, that is a double-digit cap hit. But ultimately, I do think this is a very fair deal, a fair deal for both sides. I don't want to say straight up team friendly. I do think it's a fair deal for both sides. And honestly, if I had to lean towards one way, it might be a little bit towards a favor for team friendly for the Packers. But now with this on the books, where's Green Bay at right now in cap space? Well, they got about, according to Spot Track, about $21 million available in cap space. And remember, that's going to be that has the Nate Hobbs June 1st thing on there. Watson is currently on a we're going to round again, $6.7 million cap hit. And then, 6.3. I was looking at Sean Ryan's. Depending on what his new contract's going to look like, too. I'll be curious if that actually stays the same, goes up, goes down. But ultimately, they got room. And it's going to go down a little bit after they get their rookie class all signed up. That's going to happen. But they're going to have more room to get some of these extensions done. They've got plenty of room to do that so far. So, couple more picks here for favorite athletes. We've got Chuck Foreman. Surveyor, you'd like that one. Surveyor's got a good story about Chuck Foreman. Don't have a name for this texter, but they say Muhammad Ali. If you haven't, give me a name if you haven't texted in before, just so I can refer to you by name, and hopefully you message the program more and such. But yeah, last call. I'm going to say last call right now because we've got quite a few of you, so I'm going to start to assign numbers and such. But if you want to win, or you want a chance to win this Jackson Churio PSA graded 10 card, video right there, so you can see them right there. All you got to do is simply text me or chime in on the video stream your favorite player, favorite athlete when you were a kid, when you were younger. That's it. You throw that over there, you send that to me, I'm going to automatically enter you in for the drawing. All right? There you go. That's simple. And then next week, I think for sure I'm going to put a Paul Molitor one in there because a lot of you are texting Paul Molitor, so I should probably throw one of the Paul Molitors out there for everybody to have a chance to win. So, Packers-wise, staying with it, what's the position now after the draft, the position group where you kind of are like, I'm a little nervous about the depth? A lot of you going with running back. I would say the top three are running back, offensive line, and still corner, even though the Packers drafted 2 corners. Cornerback room has been mentioned. I'd say the top 2 for sure, offensive line and running back from a lot of you. I won't go through all the text, but just because it would just be some people just texted offensive line or running back. So I'd say those are easily the top 2. And honestly, I probably would agree with that. Because outside of Josh Jacobs, I'm a little nervous because the big uncertainty surrounding Marshawn Lloyd. Who's good? Is he going to stay healthy? Is the hamstring issues, all good and clear? Jacobs was banged up a lot last year. He played through it, but hey, there's no Emmanuel Wilson on this roster anymore. It's Chris Brooks. I like Chris Brooks, but I think of him more as a third down type of back. Marshawn Lloyd, I think, has the tail. It's just availability. We talk about that. That's the key word. Can you be available? Availability in this thing. So, yeah. And then I look at offensive line. They've got some interior depth, but what about left tackle? Who's the backup left tackle right now? Is it Kennard? Can he go to the left side? Is he more suited for right tackle? If Morgan goes down, do you move Zach Tom over there? I'd like a little bit more depth at the tackle position. And maybe they could find a veteran. I do think they need to find one more inline wide tight end. They're going to roll with Tucker and Luke Musgrave, and Luke Musgrave is more the seam, down the field type of threat, but I do think they like their blocking tight ends too, and I think they need to go get another one. And Goody did acknowledge that after the draft too, that kind of would have liked that. And there's some veteran free agents that could come in on a one-year deal and fill that role. But I would agree with the majority. It's left tackle specifically if I was looking at offensive line and some running back depth. All right. Tell you what, let's take a quick break and we'll do our little Inside the Hobby segments. Okay, that's coming up after these quick words. So Wednesdays are our Inside the Hobby segments where we talk a little bit about maybe card collecting, sports memorabilia, that sort of thing. And every couple of weeks we chat with Ty from Slab Factory and such. And the other times we kind of take a look at some of the latest news and stories out there in the world of sports memorabilia, sports collecting. And I came upon this one that the Detroit Pistons are announcing the launch of Pistons Collectibles. It's a program that will debut with the first true collectible ticket program in professional sports history. So the platform debuts, I'm reading this off of CLLCT.com, that's collect. They announced a memorabilia they announced a partnership with the Detroit Pistons, launching Pistons Collectibles, a new collectibles and memorabilia platform. The platform debuts with Motor City Mint, the first program in professional sports history that offers fans a direct pathway to purchase a professionally graded, PSA authenticated collectible ticket for every home playoff game. Motor City Mint produces 250 limited edition collectible tickets per 2026 NBA playoff home game, printed on premium heavy card stock, individually serialized with official ticketing information, designed with game-specific artwork, capable of being graded and slabbed by PSA. Every ticket ships to buyers as a finished, authenticated piece in branded packaging. And for the first time, a professional sports franchise is treating the ticket itself as a collectible asset class from the moment of creation and building an entire collectible infrastructure around it. This comes as demands from fans and collectors alike to bring back paper tickets has reached a fever pitch. This is kind of cool because I am one that I have saved all of my ticket stubs to every Packers game. I haven't saved them to every game I've gone, every sports game, but every Packers one I have. And even when they went ticketless, I would screenshot the ticket off my phone and then print it and put it in my binder. So I am all about these ticket stubs, and I know some of them have really gone up in price and that. I'll never sell them. I say that now, but you never know, I guess. Never say never. But it's kind of I'll go back, and it's kind of like a history book for me of all the games that I've gone to. And just kind of, I remember that game. I remember exactly what happened then. Going through that. Oh, yep. Remember being there. Remember doing this. Tailgating here. And, it's like a story. It's almost like a picture book that comes with a story. And I think the school, I think a team like Green Bay, for instance, if they did something like this, it would be through the roof. And I just wonder, and yes, you go to the pro shop, you go to the Packers pro shop, they've got, you could buy some used spikes, cleats, pants. Some of the gear that the players wore. Sometimes when they're, getting rid of chairs, they'll put it in the pro shop to sell, or they'll cut up a bleacher and sell that. But if like the Packers, all this talk about trying to make extra revenue without naming rights and such, if they started their own like Packers collectibles thing, that thing I think would skyrocket. That would just go through the roof if they did something like that. And I wonder if we're going to see more teams kind of get into this market, kind of get into this collectible market where they create their own exclusive stuff. And yes, when you go to the pro shop or go to the pro shop, they've already got a page called like memorabilia and collectibles in that. And, it might be the Highland Mint photos or some of those plaques and such. But I'm talking about more of like these ticket stub things or maybe even player stuff or team historical stuff. Is there more of a market for that type of thing? And I think for a team of the Packers caliber, I think that could. I'd be, lack of a better word, a victim of that, because I'd be like, oh man, okay, you're selling, let's say they ever, and I know they've done it before, but let's say they completely replace all the bleachers. I'd buy one to put in my man cave. Granted, a lot would depend on the price, but yeah, yeah. I'm kind of jealous of a lot of people. I swear how many people I know that have the Metrodome seats. I'm kind of jealous because I would like a seat from Lambeau Field to put into my man cave, but it's just bleachers. Hey, I'll take a bleacher. I'll put it up next to, I'll make a bleacher bench and put it underneath the bar, and that's kind of where you sit there. That's what I would do with that. I'm jealous that a lot of people have the Metrodome seats. Then they could set it up and have something like that. There's a house kind of in my neighborhood. I don't know if there's a story behind it, but it's like on the outside. They got like a little hill next to their house, and they've got like two, it looks like the Metrodome seats, but there's like two of them mounted on this little hill of theirs. And I don't know if it is a Metrodome seat or I don't know if it's just regular boat seats or what, but I want something like that for my man cave, but it's got to be from somewhere. And, man, so Green Bay, if you want to like completely remodel all those the thing is too, I'm of the age I would love seat backs. I would love the comfy seats like the new section. I can't see Green Bay ever doing that because it would take away some of the seats, which means you're taking away some of the tickets unless they were to expand where they could add more seats to even it out. Don't think they're getting rid of the bleachers anytime soon because that, if you put in those nice comfy seats, it takes away some of those seats. Although me in my age and old age and back in that, gosh, I would love that. That's why I like sitting up in a new section. I get the comfy seat. It might be a little bit higher, but I get a comfy seat, especially in the cold weather. And then you're like trying to tuck in with everybody because they've got all these layers on, or even in the hot ones in the summer, and it's like I don't want to sit next to this person. They're sweating and all that, but I wonder if we're going to see even more teams kind of, with this Pistons collectibles. You imagine like a Packers collectibles or Brewers collectibles, and you could get players to sign stuff, and I think we're going to see a lot more of this stuff kind of come down the line. And this is just a couple more what fans can expect from Pistons collectibles. Motor City Mint is the debut product, but Pistons Collectibles is being built as a year-round platform. Key elements of the program will include Motor City Mint, PSA-graded limited edition collectible tickets for all 2025-26 NBA playoff home games at Little Caesars Arena, game-used and player-signed memorabilia, verified and authenticated items available through curated drops and seasonal releases. There you go. Milestone and heritage releases, collectible products tied to jersey retirements, career landmarks, championship anniversaries, franchise history. Yep. Modern drop formats, serialized editions, surprise and delight releases, and packaging designed for display and sharing. Retail and arena activations, in-venue experiences, community touchpoints, and partner integrations that connect product to real-world moments. All right, that's your Inside the Hobby. Okay, last call. This is your legit last call now. Last call if you want a chance to win this Jackson Churio PSA graded 10 2022 Bowman Mega Box Jackson Churio Chrome card. All you got to do is text who your favorite athlete was as a kid. It can be any sport. Or you can comment on the video stream too. This is your last one. As soon as we come back from commercial break, that's the cutoff. That's going to be the cutoff. All right. So let's take a quick break, and we'll wrap it up. We've got picks to make. Brewers back at it tonight. Can they get another win and secure a series W with Brandon Sproat on the mound? They're going to be able to do that tonight? We'll pick that, pick some hoops, hockey, more baseball games, and wrap things up. Coming up after these few words. That's pretty cool. A few of you have just chimed in the last hour or so that if you do win the Jackson Cheerio card, that you would like to donate it to a youngster. So that's really nice of you. To all of you did that. So, all right, I'll make that note if you are selected as the winner. So big thanks to everybody for texting on in. I'll try to think of another good one for next week for our Paul Molitor card giveaway. Just kind of an easy one for everybody to chime in. Huge thanks. It was awesome seeing all these different names of different athletes coming through. So, and hopefully spark some good memories back to when you were a youngster, when you were, really love sport. Our first really getting into sports and our first maybe, pro role models or who we wanted to be when we were kids. So big thanks again for everybody for participating in that. And again, big thanks to Paul for donating these cards so that we could do these fun giveaways. Let's do some picks here. We got 3 games on the NBA docket. Orlando at Detroit. As much as I want to pick my Magic, I think Detroit gets the win. Orlando still leads the series, though, 3-2. They're heading in this game up 3-1. I think Detroit wins just to stay alive for a little bit longer. Hopefully, the Trace McGrady curse won't happen to Orlando like it did when McGrady, as the Magic were an 8 seed one year and the Pistons were the top seed, and McGrady said, it feels good to be in the second round. Pistons went on to win the next 3. So, yeah. Toronto versus Colorado. That series, Toronto versus Colorado. Toronto versus Cleveland. That series is tied at 2 apiece. I am going to go with Cleveland. Houston taking on the Lakers. I think the Lakers end it tonight, and they win the series. Hockey-wise, by the way, last night for some NBA games, Boston fell to Philadelphia, so Philadelphia is still alive. Boston still leads that series 3-2. The Knicks got the victory against Atlanta. They lead that series 3-2. San Antonio defeated Portland, so they move on. NHL Stanley Cup playoffs last night. We saw Boston picking up a 2-1 win in overtime, so Buffalo leads that series 3-2. The Wild of Minnesota picked up a 4-2 victory. They now lead that series 3-2. And Edmonton picked up a victory 4-1 against the Ducks. Anaheim still leads that series 3-2. For our 3 games on the docket for tonight, we've got Montreal taking on Tampa Bay. That series is tied at 2 apiece. I will go Tampa Bay. We got Philly taking on Pittsburgh. Philly leads that series 3-2. I'm going to go with Philly to win the series tonight. Utah taking on Vegas. That series is tied at 2 apiece. I will roll with Vegas. All right, let's do some baseball picks. We've got Tampa Bay taking on Cleveland. I'll go Cleveland. Angels, White Sox. I'll go Angels. Mariners, Twins. I'll go Mariners. Yankees, Rangers. Give me the Yankees. Red Sox and Toronto. I'll go Toronto. Miami versus the Dodgers. Miami picking up the win last night. Shohei Ohtani getting a loss. Jansen Junk getting the win. I think Dodgers bounce back, get the win. Tyler Glasnow's on the mound. Cubs, Padres. Ugh. Come on, Padres. Get the win. Houston, Baltimore. I'll go Baltimore. Colorado versus Cincinnati. Come on, Colorado. I'll go Cincinnati, though. Giants, Phillies. Ooh, Logan Webb, Sanchez. I'm going to go Giants. St. Louis versus Pittsburgh. I'll go Pittsburgh. Washington taking on the Mets. I'll go Mets. Tigers, Braves. I'm going to go Tigers because of Scoople's on the mound. Kansas City versus the Athletics. I'll go with the Athletics. And then Arizona versus the Brewers. Sprout versus Rodriguez. I hate this, but I'm probably going to go with the Diamondbacks. It's just Rodriguez, left-handed pitcher. I get worried about the lineup that the Brewers are going to throw out there. the lack of right-handed at-bats going up against that. So I'm going to go. I'll go Diamondbacks, but I really hope I'm wrong. Hey, if you want to watch some Blue Gold action, we've got softball and baseball in action for the Blue Golds today. I know men's golf's going on right now, WAC Championships, but baseball is going to wrap up their series with Whitewater. They got a game at 3 o'clock at Carson Park, and then Stout versus the Blue Golds for softball. That's also going to be here in Eau Claire. So if you want to get outside and maybe watch some baseball or softball, you can do that today. Softball, it's a doubleheader, Bullender Field. So first game's going to be at 4 and then 6 p.m. before the Blue Golds wrap up their regular season this weekend. Again, it'll be in Eau Claire going up against UW Whitewater. So, and then baseball, they're going to be at Carson Park today for first pitch at 3 p.m., and the Blue Gold baseball team is going to wrap up their regular season on the road with a couple doubleheaders against River Falls starting on Friday. So get on out and watch some baseball or softball if you want to get outside. So, all right, tomorrow's Thursday. What do we got on the docket? Here's your homework assignments, everybody. Ready? Takeover Thursday. Think about a topic that you would like to throw out to chat with the rest of our listeners. You think, I think this would be a good topic. What are you guys' thoughts? What is everybody's thoughts on this? Think about that for a little bit. You get to act like the producer for tomorrow, so come up with some topic ideas for our Takeover Thursday. It is also a Enough is Enough Thursday. What's the sports narrative, sports take, sports story that has you going, enough is enough with this? Come on. Maybe it is the NCAA basketball tournament expanding to 76 teams where you're like, man, enough is enough with that thing. Can we just stop? It's a tailgate outdoors, so we'll talk with Jake Bilks right before the opener of the fishing season coming up this weekend. It's already going to be May, first weekend of May, fishing. All right, so think about if you got any questions for Jake, especially if you're going to be heading out for the opener. You can text those on over right now if you'd like. If you want to do that, go ahead and do so. Just the easiest way, the best way, so I could collect them and get those to Jake is via that Shoe Doctors bullpen line with a quick text at 715-830-1912. So, but you can send those on over starting now, and I'll save them for tomorrow. Don't forget Brewers tonight, 6:40. First pitch coverage will begin 35 minutes prior, so 6:05. You can tune into the game on the radio dials of 105.1 FM and 790 AM. So got that, and then hopefully tomorrow morning we'll be talking about a Brewers series win and maybe looking ahead to a sweep. Getaway day game tomorrow at 12:40 before the Brewers hit the road to take on the Washington Nationals. So, but one game at a time. One game at a time. Let's get this win today, secure the series victory, and then hopefully Brandon Woodruff can lead the Brew Crew to a sweep a little bit later on. So, but yeah, fingers crossed. Just get the win tonight and maybe get some help from elsewhere. Also on the docket tomorrow, we'll see if maybe we'll throw some more football talk in here too. But it's kind of wrapping up this. I know they've got some rookie mini camps and such coming up here too. So, but maybe we'll throw a little bit more football chat in here too. Kind of quiet on the Bucs side of things. Probably waiting for season to kind of wrap up and such. But maybe we'll have another fun topic like we had the last couple of days here that kind of gets you down your memory lane and kind of think about it a little bit. So those are always fun to get everybody's takes and opinions on. So again, big thanks to everybody who did text in for your favorite athlete. If you get a text from me saying you're the winner, you're the winner. If you don't get a text or you don't get a message on YouTube, means you didn't win. And try again next week because I got a bag full. I got a bag full of some of these cards, and it's going to be a Paul Molitor one next week because we've got a few of those, and a lot of you this morning texting in that Paul Molitor is your favorite player. So going to have to throw Paul Molitor one out there for everybody to put in. There's a lot of baseball ones. I think we got a couple more football ones in there, but yeah, we'll kind of focus. And we got some packs in there too, like from the early 90s. I might have to reach out to Paul and see if we can maybe open up one of those packs as part of our Inside the Hobby, a live pack opening or something like that. That'd be fun. So, all right. As always, don't forget to follow, subscribe to the Man Cave Podcast. We got new episodes up daily. Be a friend, tell a friend, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just ring that bell. That would be awesome if you can help out over there and get those subscriptions up. It doesn't cost you anything. I hate using that word, but that's the technical word for it. So have a good rest of your day. All right, if you can get outside, go watch some Blue Gold baseball, some Blue Gold and Stout softball coming your way. So, again, both those games, Carson Park and then Bollinger Field. Carson Park for baseball, Bollinger Field for softball. Have a good rest of your day. Same place, same time tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Talk to you then.